It was a program being brought to you by the Plymouth Historical Society with cooperation from the Plymouth High School and the Plymouth High School TV production crew. I'm Mike Briggs, and today I'm the special, I have some special guests, Rollie Eggebeen and John Holbrook. I want to welcome you both. Both of these people are World War II veterans with the Army Air Force, and they will be part of the honorary parade marshals for the Memorial Day of 2002, and that's quite an honor, guys. I guess I'll ask first, Rollie, you are not a lifetime Plymouth resident. You actually grew up just a little ways away from here.
Well, I grew up in Sheboygan Falls.
And you graduated from Sheboygan Falls High School?
Sheboygan Falls High School.
And following high school, Rollie, you shortly following high school, you enlisted into the service.
Right.
And tell me about that, the part of enlisting into the service.
Well, at that time, the war was on, and they were looking for Air Corps cadets. And we had to go down to Sheboygan and register down there. And we took tests down there, and then they told us to go home and wait until we received our orders. And I received my orders in January of 43.
43, and we'll come back to all the steps to being part of a gunner in just a moment, but I want to bring John into the picture here. John, you are a all-time, full-time resident of Plymouth area.
Yes.
You grew up just on a farm just a little ways from here.
Yes, farm south of Plymouth on Sumac and E.
Right.
The old house where I was born in and is still there, and you can see it. The new house is right up.
Just a little ways away from there, yeah. And so...
and I went to Winooski School, and then I went to high school, and I graduated from the class of 41.
So in 1941, you graduated from high school in Plymouth. It was not the same high school we're in today, though, is it?
No, it isn't.
It was located...
Where Riverview is.
Yeah.
That was a new school then.
Yeah, Riverview was a brand new school back in 41, and you were one of the graduates from that high school.
Yes.
Now, you were drafted into the service somewhere around 42, is that correct?
43.
In 43?
Yes.
And you also then got directed towards the Army Air Force, didn't you?
Yes, I was drafted. Instead of going down to the induction center, then I went down to the Mitchell Field, and there I enlisted as an aviation cadet. And so then I went into the Army, and from there I was
Went through your tests.
Yes, and then from there it was basic training, and instead of going for flight school or becoming a pilot, they put us on a train. I wound up at Vegas, and there was a gunnery school, and they said, you guys were all thought you were going to be pilots, but you're not.
But you're going to be on a plane.
You're going to be gunners. You have 6 weeks of gunnery school here, and we also have a new MOS for you guys. It's a 611 career gunner. So, and then you will graduate and you'll be a PFC, and then you will have a 15-day delay en route. So when it got on Friday, we got the silver gunner wings, but we didn't get the furlough. So they sent us right to the next base.
Sure. Now, your direction was a little different. Instead of going west to Las Vegas, you went south, didn't you?
I went south. I went to Miami Beach, Florida, and we had our 6 weeks of basic training there, and then they sent us up to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, to go to school in Tennessee State Teachers College. And I was there for 6 months, and from there I went to Maxwell Field and took pre-flight school there, and then for primary school I went up to Camden, South Carolina, and then I had this airplane accident, and they wouldn't let me fly a plane, but they said I could still be in the Air Force. And they sent me to gunnery school in Denver, Colorado. And from to become an armorer of the plane, I had to check all the bombs and the guns to see that they operated right. And then from there, I went to Harlingen, Texas, and I went to 6 weeks of gunnery school there. And after that, we were assigned to a crew, and I went to Savannah, Georgia, where we took our overseas flight training. And then finally we got our order. I was assigned to a crew, and we got our orders to go overseas. And they said, you will fly a plane over. Instead of putting us on a boat, they said we would fly a new airplane over. So we went up to New York, and we picked up the plane there. And from there we flew to Newfoundland. And from Newfoundland we flew to Iceland. And from Iceland we flew to Wales, and then over into England. Now, when we were out over the Arctic Ocean up there, the plane pilot finally said to the navigator, he says, "How much further do we have to go?" And he says, "It's not very far." And the pilot says, "Well, you better," he said, "because our gas tanks are getting empty." So when we got up to Iceland, and he called into the airfield right away, and he says, "I have to land immediately. I'm not flying any flight pattern, but I'm landing immediately." He says, "We have no gas left." And when we got down on the ground, and the flight engineer came over, and he checked, and he says, "Well, you guys had about a cup full of gas left."
Yeah. It wasn't like we fly today.
No.
It wasn't the planes were not as nicely decorated as our passenger planes.
Well, and our planes in those days didn't have any windows or anything in them. It was all open.
Oh,
So it would get pretty cold up there.
you bet. Now, your final destination was in England, wasn't it?
Right.
And now I know, John, you actually went a little further west, didn't you?
Yes.
And south.
So,
Yeah. So, what were your steps from Las Vegas to, I believe, final destination in the service was Italy for you?
yes, they sent us down to Ardmore, Oklahoma, where I was assigned to a crew, and we had a crew training of 2 months, and from there they shipped us right up to Lincoln, Nebraska, where they had B-17s. We were on the runway waiting for a crew, so we were one of the crews. We had 3 days to get the B-17 ready, and then we took off from there, landed at Bangor, Maine, from Bangor to Newfoundland. And when we got in the air, we had the sealed orders. And when the navigator opened up the sealed orders, it says, "You fly to the Azore Islands." And he said, "Where's the Azore Islands?" I was going to go to England. But by the time we got to the Azore Islands, the Germans had jammed up the radio, so we had no contact with the ground. And likewise, the pilot says, "I want to have one approach," and he brought it in on this island. It was like a large aircraft carrier, and he put her right down there.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Those were exciting times, weren't they,
No.
guys?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to hold up a picture here first that I got from Rollie here, if I'm not mistaken. Is this correct? And
Right.
explain what I'm looking at here, would you please, Rollie?
That's the plane that we flew overseas, and that's all the crew that I was assigned to.
And in the background, we do see what would be, I'm only guessing, a B-24.
B-24.
Yep, and B-24, you actually flew mostly at night, am I correct, Rollie?
All night missions, yes.
Okay. And explain, when we dealt with an all-night mission, you didn't see a lot of countryside, did you?
No, but when we went over there, we could see everything burning in Germany. So, and we always flew. We had, I think it was 12 crews in our squadron, and we all flew separate missions. We had no fighter protection, They had to rely on our own guns. And we were shot down once. We were over Germany, and we got hit pretty bad, and the tail gunner said, hey, what's going on up there? He said, I can see the flames coming back. And the pilot says, we've got 2 engines on fire. He says, I got to make a split decision right now. He said, we're close enough to Switzerland to go over and land there, or should we make it back to France? And we said, well, we're not going to spend the rest of the war over there. Let's go back to France. And when we landed in France, the navigator had picked out a field that was right close by, and so the pilot radioed in, and they said, well, we can't turn the runway lights on. He said, because we're being attacked. And the pilot says, I don't care if what's going on down there. He says, I'm coming in, turn those lights on. And about that time, it just happened to be that there was a half of the airfield was American and the other half was British. And the British Limey called in and he says, I'll turn those lights on for you. And bingo, they were on, and then we came in.
Now, John, you actually flew what we call a B-17. Is that correct?
That's right. And I was a tail gunner there, as you can see the tail. And
Yep.
this was our big red tails. We were
Yep.
flying out of Italy.
Now, while Rollie, he flew always at night, you flew during the day.
That's right.
And so you got to see a little more countryside, but it was probably, everybody could see you first, too.
Yes.
Now, what was the job of your B-17s, John, that you were flying?
We were to, the ground crew had taken over the flats of Foggia, and so here is where we finally got all the bombers and the planes could come in so that we could bomb these oil fields. And so I landed there at when they had a heavy bomber loss at Mennington, and so the night they took us down and they briefed us because they wanted to hit this oil fields at Brooks, Czechoslovakia, which was east of Berlin.
Okay.
Another oil field and a chemical factory. And from there, we had no escort going after they left the coast. And so then in 10 days, I pulled 7 missions. Some were Palessi oil field. The second one, and I can just run down a little bit.
Sure.
To Bennington, and I pulled 3 trips over the Palessi oil fields, and at Linz, Austria, was an aircraft plant, and also Hermann Göring's tank works, and they wanted that bombed, and so we went in there, and the B-24s went in ahead of us, and the fighters they lost over 20 B-24s, and then by the time they come in by us and that, we didn't have too much ammunition left and everything, so we were fortunate.
Yeah.
And then that was just in 10 days I had 7 missions.
Yeah.
So that's just a little run on
Sure.
what happened.
Now, you actually were, Rollie, were part of what I found odd, that you did not carry identification on your planes. Explain the difference between that. I always thought you always had to have identification on you.
Well, the only identification we had was our dog tags. Because that way, if you got captured, the Germans couldn't trace where you came from, or
Okay.
so the only thing if you did get captured, the only thing you ever gave was your service number and your rank. That's
Now, why were you always operating at night? What was the purpose of? I know what John's purpose was, to take out the oil fields, and that was important to shut down the Germans because you wanted to stop all the fuel. But your purpose was different.
Yes, we were spreading propaganda. Our bombs were all propaganda, and we were flying over Germany to let the Germans know that if they wanted to surrender, they would just have to use one of these leaflets.
Right. I want to show this, and there's a story behind. Well, there's a story behind everything you brought in today, guys. But this is a leaflet that you would drop. Am I correct?
Right.
And explain what it says on here, just briefly. It says that that it is okay to surrender, and we would accept that surrender.
Yes, and it. I think it also said on there what they had to do. That, and they were told. Well, like on here, it says that it's safe. They would be protected, and.
But now, when you were flying, you would drop these, and you were flying 40-some missions
41
at night, and you had a little problem with this once, didn't you? Dropping
Yes, we
these
did.
leaflets at one time.
General Patton got pretty mad at us because we dropped leaflets one night on, and he said, "You hit the wrong people." He said, "My whole tank battalion," he said, "got all the leaflets, and the Germans didn't get them." But they were moving so fast that they didn't have time to notify our base.
So you did not expect Patton to be that far yet.
No. And so General Patton was pretty mad.
Now I've got a couple more pictures here, John. Explain what I'm looking at here. We'll try to zoom in on this. And,
I think it's upside down.
It's upside down.
Let's try again.
There you go.
There it is. You can see in the background you're taking a picture out of a plane onto a plane. You're
Yes.
taking a shot of a B-17 from above.
That's right. That's where the nose is shot off completely, and it's starting to go down.
Oh, so this is the plane that's not going to be going back, is it?
That's right.
Yeah, that's not going back. And I just want to hold up one other one here. I have a small one here, a picture. Maybe we can zoom in on the people here. This is just a small crew. I had a larger picture from Rollie. This is a small crew, not all of your crew, am I correct?
That's correct. We never had a crew picture taken because we didn't have time, and this is only what's left of my crew. They took this picture before we were to go on a secret mission, and we may not come back, so they wanted a little record of who we were.
Right.
And I flew as a tail gunner. That's when they dropped the ball turret and put in the radar, and it was the first mission to fly in bad weather through the clouds and everything.
I see.
Just
Okay.
in a single airplane.
Now, what I was going to ask, Rollie, is that you could explain a B-24 and being a gunner, how many people are actually on the plane, and what are the duties that would incur?
Well, we had a crew of 10 people. We had a pilot, co-pilot, navigator, and bombardier. And the gunners were the engineer, the radio operator, 2 waist gunners, 1 tail gunner, and my position was the ball turret that was lowered down from the plane down. And so I was actually all by myself.
Yep.
I was hanging on a rod that was about as big as my thumb.
And precariously,
Yes, it
possibly, would be
was.
the best word. Now, on a B-17, how many crew members are we talking about there?
10. There's
Also 10?
yes, and there's what would you like to know about the?
Well,
crew?
you have a
Or-
crew of, you also have a pilot and a co-pilot.
Yes, we had a tail gunner, 2 waist gunners, a ball turret gunner, radio operator, and the upper turret gunner was the crew chief, and we had a pilot and a co-pilot, and a navigator and a bombardier.
Okay. And now, 47 missions, am I right, John?
That's right.
47 and 41
41.
missions. And Rollie, at what point were your duties done in England?
when we got through with our mission. At that time, you had to have 385 combat hours.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you had that 385 hours, that's when they would ship you back again.
Okay, and so after that time, you were sent back to the United States. And when you came back to the United States, you were still in the service for how long?
Yes. Well, I went as soon as we got a 3 weeks vacation when we came back, and then I was sent out to a rest camp in Santa Ana, California.
Mm-hmm.
And then they gave us a choice of what we wanted to do. So I knew that there were classes being taught down at Chanute Field.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Chanute Field. I was there taught classes about 6 weeks, and one day the major came in and he said, Sergeant, he said, you are being transferred. And I said, well, where to? He says, the West Coast. I thought, oh boy, here I go. I probably have to go over to the Pacific War.
Right.
And he didn't say what I was going to do over there or what, but I was sent to the airfield in I can't think of what the name of the town is. San Bernardino Air Base.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time I was in the fall of the year, and they were having a lot of forest fires.
Oh.
They couldn't get enough forest fires to fight,
Yeah.
so they asked the Army to send men over.
Mm-hmm.
So we fought forest fires there for a couple weeks, and then that's when the war with Germany was over with, and they were manufacturing so many airplanes at that time yet that they didn't know what to do with them. So they would fly them to this air base, and they would lay steel mats down, acres and acres of fields, and we would take the planes out there, take the wheels off, take the instruments out, and put in what they call dehydrating plugs in the engines.
So it's kind of I don't want to say junkyard, but you retired the plane, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I thought I'll come back to the finishing up that, but I want to get from John, at some point you left Italy.
Yes, when I landed there, I was a replacement crew for the losses at Mennington, where they had made this raid on the Mennington Aerodrome, and they had lost over 20-some B-17s on that raid. The outfit I was assigned to, only 2 came back, and so then they briefed us and they said, well, there's the tents are there, you can pick anyone out that you want, and so they said, we'll have another briefing at 6 o'clock that evening, and so we picked out a tent, and at that time we were to meet at the briefing, and the guy said, well, we've had these losses, but we want to hit this Brooks, where the oil field and a chemical factory, which is just east of Berlin, to stop that oil flow, because that's the closest to Germany. So he said, here's what the deal is, and also I was a corporal, so they made me a staff sergeant right away, so in case I got shot down, that the Germans might not shoot me right away. So from there, we went on Brooks and made these 10 raids, whatever it is, and then after that, we didn't have any escort. Then came the Tuskegee Airmen with the new P-51s, and they were, first time they escorted us, they stayed right with us, and we had, the colonel says, hold your firemen. He said, let the 51s take care of these guys. And so we did, and we had a dogfight right in the formation, and they come flying by and all that good stuff. And so that was the next time the Tuskegee Airmen escorted us. We had the big red tails, and so they had painted their tails red too.
Oh.
And so from then on, the next day, I watched them. They shot down over 30 109s that day. So the Tuskegee Airmen were noted for the good escort that they, and they were honored for that.
Sure.
You know.
Now, when you left Italy, you came back to the United States?
Yes, I was only there. I wasn't even there when they awarded me the Air Medal. I had 8 months in the Army, and so after that, my crew was all. So they would take, and no matter when I was, they'd take me down and put me on where they would need it, either a tail gunner or a waist gunner.
Wow.
And so I finished out my missions, and on Thanksgiving Day, I was at the Repel Depot in Naples, and it was raining and mud and everything, and I was crawled in this pup tent, waited till the next day, and then I came back to the States on a hospital boat.
Oh. Now, what I was going to ask, Rollie, is that when you got out of the service, you finished up your service career in California?
Yes, I had to come back to Chanute Field to be discharged.
I see. And after discharge, we should probably get you back to Plymouth before we close the show. You came back and eventually settled in Plymouth, didn't you?
About 8 years after I came out of service, then I married a gal from Plymouth, and she died in 1975. And in '77, I remarried a gal that was living in Plymouth here, and it just was ironic that I had talked to her husband just 2 weeks before he died. We got to be friends, and so I increased my family from, I had a son and a daughter, and I increased it by having 4 more sons and another daughter.
And I would only assume that both of your first 2 children went to Plymouth.
They
School
both
district?
graduated. Yes, they. Kevin was active in sports and that, and he was. He went to college in Oshkosh for 3 years,
Okay.
and my daughter graduated from here, and she is very talented in music, and she went to music school, and she taught in Plymouth here. She taught at the Catholic school, and then she went to Wisconsin Rapids, where she taught there, and then she went to De Pere. And right now, just this past weekend, she put on a musical for the Ashwaubenon High School.
Oh. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, I want to make sure I mention John has probably 5
Yes, I do.
children.
Yes.
And so you've lived in Plymouth all of your life. After coming back from the service,
Right.
settled back in Plymouth.
Yes.
And now I know, Rollie, you worked at Borden's.
Yes.
And so you've retired from Borden's. And John, you worked...
Well, I have so many different jobs that you can't list.
Oh, we don't have that much time.
No, we don't.
But your 5 children all went to Plymouth schools?
Yes, Sarah is here, my daughter Sarah,
Yep.
and they're spread out all over. So
Yeah.
that's how
And so both continue to be residents of Plymouth
Oh, yes.
and enjoy your retired years in Plymouth, and I hope you have many more. And I want to congratulate you both again before we close. You'll be the honorary parade marshals of the Memorial Day 2002. I want to congratulate you on that. I hope Flair picks you out a nice car, convertible to sit in, and
yeah, right.
and they can have a beautiful day for it, I hope.
Yes.
Yes, well, I've had with me Rollie and John, Rollie Eggebeen and John Holbrook, both World War II veterans, both Army Air Force veterans, B-52 B-17 and B-24 gunners. And so it's been an honor having you here, and I hope everybody enjoyed the stories. We have many more. We have many more stories, and that's what always makes it good. We'll come back and tell some more.
Well, thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. You've been watching This Is the Way It Was, a program being put together by the Plymouth Historical Society with help from the Plymouth High School TV production crew. Thanks for being with us.